Hello again, everybody, and welcome to our Vegas Voice family. I'm Dan Roberts, the publisher of the Vegas Voice, and one of my great pleasures is introducing all our fantastic columnists to everybody watching this. I'm very lucky today to have with me by far the premier attorney for seniors, and that's Jerry Creed. Jerry,
Thank you, Dan.
thank you so much for being here. You know, one of the things that is different is that when you're an attorney for seniors, it's a different world than when you're younger and you're buying houses and just starting out. I mean, you're an elder law attorney. You're a specialist. What does it mean?
So they're kind of two separate things. I am a specialist. I'm one of 7 estate planning law specialists in Nevada. And there are a whole bunch of requirements and things you have to do. But I'm also an elder law attorney, which means I focus on taking care of people and the issues they have as they grow older. Most estate planning attorneys focus on taxes and money. They don't focus on retirement homes and making sure your money lasts till the end of your days.
And, you know, one of the things that I guess is always out there is, what's the biggest mistake that as you grow older you fail to do that you should do with an elder attorney?
The biggest mistake, I think, is durable powers of attorney for healthcare and finance. If you have good powers of attorney for healthcare and finance, you're never going to go to guardianship court. There's never going to be a reason to step through that door because all the powers you'd be asking a judge to grant you, you already have.
Are they difficult forms to fill out? Do they see you? What do you suggest? I come to you and say, look, my parents are coming in. They're in their 80s, their 90s. They don't know what to do and how to go about it, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, then when they hear the word attorney, they get nervous, as you can imagine. How do you walk them through it?
We try to take a very friendly approach. We use symbols for the things that we're talking about. When we talk about a revocable living trust, we use a bucket. When I talk about an irrevocable trust, I use a piggy bank. When we talk about powers of attorney, I use Swiss Army knives because powers of attorney are simply tools for your agent to take care of you. And so we talk about how better powers of attorney will avoid the problems that come down the road. Like if one of the spouses loses capacity, will the other spouse be able to sell the house and do the things they need to do with the existing powers of attorney? And oftentimes the answer is no.
You know, but you know, the funny thing is, and I guess I learned it from reading your articles in the Vegas Voice, is that, yeah, okay, I did it. My dad and my mom, they did a power of attorney, but they did it 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Like life, everything changes.
Everything changes. And, 15-year-old power of attorney, I see them all the time, but it's kind of an awkward thing to go to a bank and ask them to rely on a statement you made 15 years ago. So much better if you've made this statement in the last 3 to 5 years. And even better, rather than having generic powers of attorney that says, oh, I give you all the power to do anything you want, my powers of attorney are very specific. So like the Nevada power of attorney for money is about 8 pages long.
Really?
But the one that I do as an elder law attorney is 29 pages long and has a 3-page table of contents. And so it has a lot more robustness to it. So it's less likely you'll ever find someone telling you, no, you can't do that.
Same thing, I guess, with trust that you set up. Again, something that has happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, events have changed. They should definitely just update it, I should say.
Right. So 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, Medicaid wasn't the issue that it is today. Medicaid has changed in Nevada from being a benefit to a zero-interest loan. And for a lot of people, they're unaware of that fact. They don't realize Nevada has enhanced Medicaid recovery, and their trust planning didn't take that into account.
And you've written about that a few times in the Vegas Voice, and I'm fascinated by it because most seniors say, oh, I'll never go on Medicaid. I have money, I have assets. But God forbid something happens and you need to make plans to go into a nursing home. That kind of advanced planning makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, yeah. It makes hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference. A good trust will save you tens of thousands of dollars in probate fees, but a trust that does elder law will take and save half of your estate, your nest egg, 3/4 of your nest egg. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's really incredible, the amount of money that you can save. What do you tell people? Is there a general example? You know, mom and dad come in and say, look, I don't want to lose everything. I mean, how do you even go about trying to protect everything?
There are 3 things I do different as an elder law attorney than most estate planning attorneys. We do better powers of attorney, so that way you never have to go to guardianship court. If you're a married couple, we do something we call a blue pig. It's a special needs trust created by a will at the time of the first spouse's death, which is a mouthful, which is why we call it a blue pig.
A blue pig, yeah.
But what it does is it protects half of the community property from enhanced Medicaid recovery or Medicaid, and there's no look-back period. So if you're worth $1 million and you have a blue pig set up and your spouse dies, $500,000 is exempt from Medicaid. That's tremendous.
You know, it's something that a little bit of planning with an elder law attorney can make all the difference in the world in your later senior years.
Yes, night and day difference.
Yeah.
Because your choices, Medicaid says you have to spend down to $2,000. And like you said, most people say, oh, Medicaid, I'll never go on it. But most people can't afford the $8,000 a month a skilled nursing or a memory care facility cost. And if you can't afford that $8,000 a month, that answer is Medicaid. So planning for it is a much better way than not planning.
When people come in to see you, again, you have, matter of fact, you're unique because you have law offices in 2 different locations. Just the idea, you have one in Summerlin and one down here in Anthem here. How do you just bring somebody in and explain to them without them being concerned, oh my God, it's an attorney, he's trying to take all my money?
So there's 2 things we do that kind of help people with that. We do free seminars every month. We do one down here in Anthem.
Right.
And we do one up in Sun City, Summerlin. And they're free. You just come to them and we talk about these subjects in more detail. And if you come to one of the seminars, we give you free 30 minutes to sit down and ask your specific questions with me. Or maybe we do a trust review. We go through your documents. We tell you what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, maybe what you want to update. And then that way at least you know what you need to do.
Is there something changing in the law or maybe just the environment when people really don't have any idea about estate planning? And where do you start? How do you get somebody in and just start with it?
So we usually start with telling them that they passed 3 acts. Congress passed 3 acts. Deficit Reduction Act of 2005, the
Right.
Affordable Care Act, and the ironically named Taxpayer Relief Act of 2012. And here in Nevada, when they did that, we went from 200,000 people on Medicaid to 600,000 people on Medicaid. So at a time when congressmen are saying, look what we're doing, your taxes are so much lower, they don't include you, we created this thing called a recovery that really is just a tax on elderly people.
By doing that, again, it saves them a tremendous amount of money and hardship, not only for them, but for their adult children down the line.
Right, so the children is icing on the cake. It's wonderful if you can give something to your children, but mostly my focus is on, I don't want to be an elderly person in an assisted living or a nursing home with only $2,000 in the bank. God forbid if the staff is mean to me or the food isn't good, they change cooks, or they move someone in the room next door who screams all night. If I only have $2,000 in the bank, I have no options.
You have no options, and you no longer have control. And if you're
Right.
an adult that all your life you've been in charge of yourself, your spouse, your family, all of a sudden you're dependent on a stranger.
And the thing is, it's your money. With a little bit of planning, you could have several $100,000 tucked away, and when you have one of those things happen, you have the money to go to a new facility. I like to joke you have enough money that you can be on a beach in Costa Rica drinking Mai Tais. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, money is options, and this is just a way to hang on to more of your money.
And one of the things you mentioned, which, forgive me, I should have mentioned it earlier, is that you're one of the only attorneys that I know of that you have seminars just about every month up in North in Summerlin or down south in Anthem, and people can get all this information.
Yeah, it's free. All you have to come, and we'll bribe you with candies or treats and water. And we try to keep it short, less than an hour. It's a very pleasant experience, but everyone is kind of floored when they first hear it. They've never heard Medicaid affects them and affects them so dramatically.
Dramatically is, you gave a couple of examples in the magazine about how children try and do the right thing, and the dad dies, and then all of a sudden mom has nothing, and everything's gone. It's really a horrible story, but it's happening more and more because of the way the system is.
I talk to people who work in the Medicaid office, who supervise the Medicaid office, and that office is just growing and growing, the recovery office, and it's happening to more and more people. 2 years ago, I went hunting. I was in the town of Ely. I'm
Okay.
flipping through the back of a newspaper in the little town of Ely, and there were 3 homes for sale by auction by Medicaid because of enhanced Medicaid recovery in Ely.
And even, I mean, it's a whole different world than 10, 15 years ago. And obviously, for those of you who have a trust, who have documents, take a look at it. You may want to update it because, as we mentioned, life has changed. And Jerry's the perfect guy to speak to. You have 2 offices. What are their addresses, Jerry?
So my office up in Summerlin is 9300 Sun City Boulevard. I'm behind the Chase Bank.
Okay.
There's a big old sign. And down here in Anthem, I'm in the old Dell Webb building, the 11,500 Southeastern.
And if people want more information, they can go to your seminars. Again, we promote it every month in the magazine. A phone number to reach you or your office to answer any questions or go from there.
So I've had it for over a decade. 702-806-7777. That's the office.
Simple thing. Website?
www.trustjerry.com.
There you go. And believe me, we have only the best people in the Vegas voice, and this gentleman right here is the prime example of it. So, Jerry, I want to thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it. And this is Dan Roberts for the Vegas Voice family saying thank you for being a member of our family.